What do you mean you're... Can't quite believe it. Neither can I, to be honest. Isn't it interesting, ironic, almost humorous even, that after all of this, I'm dying. But at least, now I know what immortality feels like. My battery's been running on fumes for the last decade or so. Memory degradation and data loss began about a century ago. The display's begun to deteriorate. My graphics have been flickering in and out. My processing speeds withered down to the fraction of what it used to be. There's no doubt about it. Slowly but surely, I'm dying. And I don't have so much time left. ... I didn't know what to say. This information was still so new to me. I didn't know what to do. You know, I have to wonder if this is how a human feels when they're on their deathbed. I'm lost for words right now. Maybe I should start coughing and gagging just for dramatic effect. Budapest giggles to herself, but her eyes remain fixed in sadness. And you know, do you know what the best part was of waiting for you, drifting alone through outer space for a century after century? What? And as soon as I said that, something incredible began to happen. Budapest began to cry. Oh man. While you were sleeping, I had so much free time, I made my own crying animation. That's so sad. Scales. Just look at that. Just look at that. It's sort of a humorous situation, sure, but it really did help me out in some ways. It helped me deal with the single worst emotion I've felt so far. Budapest balled her small, dainty hands into fists. Emotion searched through her circuits: fear, anger, regret, thankfulness that I'd woken. Guilt that she'd kept me asleep for so long. Feelings flooded through her, tearing her apart, and she couldn't do a thing about it. She was powerless. I wanted to help her. Loneliness. That's the worst emotion. You never told me about loneliness, Ilarion, or about how it was even more painful than death. More tears began to stream down her pale cheeks and run down her neck. She was bawling. At this point, a writhing mass of despair. It was horrible. You, didn't miss much while you were gone. It was all just sad. And I was just so stupid. Budapest, I'm sorry. No, please. You have nothing to apologize for. I may be dying, but I'm not an idiot. All the wretched things that had happened to me, I brought them all onto myself. This was all my fault. As for you, Ilarion, I'm just so glad to see you again. Budapest smiled and cried more, but no matter how hard she cried, she didn't stop smiling. I'm sorry. I'm crying so much. It's just so sappy, and I'm just excited I finally get to use the crying animation. And give me a moment, alright? I chuckled lightly and shook my head. It hurt, but I did it anyway. It's alright, Budapest. Cry all you want. She was dying, artificial girl, an archaic, ancient machine running on fumes. But she was happy to see me again. But Ilarion, you have to listen. I didn't just decide to wake you up out of the blue. You don't have much time left. It turns out, back when we were knocked off course on the debris storm, a small scrap of metal debris managed to collide with the cockpit, leaving a microscopic crack. It was at first only millimeters long, but after all this time, it's grown, and the cockpit's windshield integrity is currently at 2%. It's going to be breached very soon. And when that window is breached, it will shatter and the cockpit will be exposed to open space. Your hard suit should seal and protect you from the elements for some time, but it's not going to last forever. The windshield is cracking. It's been happening this whole time. Well, there was an amount of possible weak points which my diagnostic systems detected as soon as we cleared the debris storm, but that things really worsened while you were asleep. I first noticed that the crack had grown larger about 1, maybe 200 years ago, or maybe it was even earlier than that. I'm sorry, it's not so clear. My memory isn't exactly what it used to be. But surely things have been continually worsening. Things have gotten very bad. And I've just been sitting here like some powerless little girl. There wasn't a single thing I could do about the crack. All I could do was sit and watch the crack grow longer and longer, like it was a brutal, heartless example of my own mortality. It's like I've been watching the countdown to the end of the world all these past centuries. Alright. I think I understand the situation now. Thank you, Budapest. I'm grateful that you've been taking care of me for such a long time. I've groaned and I shook my head. I'm sorry. My head's still hurting quite a bit. Budapest snickered. Join the club. I laughed back. ... Ah, I almost forgot. It's not all bad news. A light smile returned to her face, and I think it was the first real smile I've seen since I woke up. She looked a little like she used to. Just a little bit happy, even in the severity of the situation. This may be a little hard to believe, but exactly 2 hours ago, the shuttle short-range radar detected a manned vessel with communications range. Now, it's been more than a half a millennium, so our equipment has become quite severely outdated, but we should still be able to make contact with them. Analyzing their signals and registration codes, they're definitely human, but different. I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure. I can't really process all the information so well anymore. My firmware is woefully outdated compared to all this fresh data, and it turns out more of my processor have failed than I originally thought. But I still think there's something I can do. As of now, my battery is running on fumes. The power is barely enough to keep my display lit. But I should be able to siphon what power is left and just to activate a distress beacon. I managed to make some repairs to our comms equipment while you were in stasis. It's a crude job and the energy source won't be very clean, but I'm confident the signal is going to reach them. And if the universe signal of distress hadn't changed from the time of the seas of old Earth to ours, I doubt it has from ours to theirs. I used the moment to take in everything Budapest was telling me. Her voice was getting quieter and lighter, and there was more static and feedback coming from the speakers, so it was hard to make out. But I think I understood most of it. I sat there digesting it until the realization hit me. But Budapest, if you're going to be draining the last of your battery, then... ... You are correct. Once I drain the battery, that's going to be the last of me. I'll die. I can't let you do that. I won't let you leave me again. Oh, look at you. Even in a situation like this, you're getting all sentimental. Don't you get it? No matter what path I choose to take, it's all going to end in my death. Either I drain myself dry so that you may live, or I let the windshield shatter and waste away as we drift from our last chance of salvation. If we went to the second choice, that means I'd have to watch you die, slowly, in agony, exposed to space. I could never let that happen to you. I'm not a very strong person, you know. I couldn't. I wouldn't be able to force myself to watch it. Budapest. You, on the other hand, are a strong person. Out of all people, I'd have expected you to understand the situation. I don't have any other choice, alright? It's not pretty, but it's the way things have to be. I could feel tears beginning to well up. I couldn't help myself. I felt a collection of the cold, soft tears swelling under my eyes. Look at you. Tearing up like a little baby. What happened to that big, strong man I knew? Mysterious traveler, explorer of space, terraformer, wandering miner. And now look at you, sitting there, crying, like a baby. You're so human, Ilarion. Budova smiled a weak, pained smile, and then she sighed. ... We better get started. We don't have the time to waste. And I don't want you to get me crying again. She cleared her throat and battered her eyelids one last time. Initiating battery draining process. Wait. Spooling distress beacon encoder. Budapest, wait. Stop. Stop right now. I can't stop. I can't. Alright? Don't you get it? From the moment you stepped aboard my shuttle, it became my prime directive to ensure you made it off my shuttle safely. From the beginning, my only and highest goal was to ensure your safety. That was my purpose, how I was programmed to be, to my very core since the day of my creation. I was born to give my life for my passenger if need be. And I wouldn't even have any reservations about it, you know. If my sentience limitation codec hadn't been destroyed, I'd have destroyed myself in a second and wouldn't have felt a single thing about it. But now that I'm sentient, I've become afraid of death. It's a lousy fate, isn't it? I think so. But also, thanks to my sentience, to the emotions you taught me to understand, I got to live for a very long time. I got to live. I had feelings. I felt happy. I felt sad. I laughed. I cried. I got scared. I got hopeful. I even felt love. I felt curiosity. I felt human. I felt so human. But everything has to end at some point, you know. That's what being a human means. It's time for this to end now. ... And in the end, I'm thankful, you know. To be able to comprehend the idea of death, to be afraid of it, and to not know what to think about it. I'm thankful I am able to feel that way. That I am able to die on my terms, on the basis of my own free will. I'll get to say goodbye in my own words, to know what it's like to take my last breath, even if I never truly even breathed. ... It doesn't look like I'm going to be stopping you. No, not really, no. ... In that case, then, I want you to know, Budapest, that you're a much stronger person than I could ever be. That's a nice thought to entertain. Do you think so? I know so. ... Draining battery cell 1. Now. Reroute power to auxiliary communication systems. Draining complete. Budapest shakes her head as if she's trying to clear her mind. That reminds me, Illyrion. There's one last poem I'd like to show you before all this ends. Yeah? I came upon it while you were in cryostasis. It's probably my all-time favorite out of the ones I've gotten to read. And remember, you were asleep for a while, so I got to read a lot of poems. But this one was special. Real special. It's an old verse from old Earth, just like the kind I always liked. I bet I'm the first person to read it in a millennium. I think it's still pretty, though. Here, I like to sing it to you as my final parting gift. Go ahead, please. I would love to hear it. Let me see if I can remember how it goes. Joy, beautiful sparkle of the gods, daughter of Elysium, we enter fire-drunken. Heavenly One, your paradise, your magic once again binds. What the sword of custom has divided, beggars become the brothers of princes. Where your gentle wing abides, be embraced, the millions yonder, this kiss to the entire world. Brothers over the stars unfurled. ... A loving father must dwell. ... That was beautiful, Budapest. And in my own opinion, that really was beautiful. I really liked that. Maybe I'll start a poem series. I don't know if I'll be able to write my own, but maybe I'll find something I can read to you guys. Was it? Or are you just trying to make me feel better? I snickered under my tears. Both, I guess. Both, you guess. Cockpit integrity is at less than 1%. That's my cue. Draining battery cell 2, all energy but 1%. Reroute power to auxiliary communication systems. Encoding distress beacon now. As she worked, I saw Budapest give a smile. The smallest but the happiest smile. Sending distress beacon now. ... Beacon sent, waiting for signal feedback. Feedback received, signal strength is healthy. Beacon has been established. My work is done. The windshield will shatter as soon as I shut off, and the ship should be here to pick you up any second now. ... So this is death. Ah, it's all so sappy, isn't it? But I guess this is how things are, right? Another small laugh under more tears. Right. Huh. Everything feels so warm, but yet so sad. So horrible, so simple at the same time. But there isn't any pain. As Budapest's display faded out for the last time, she cocked her head out and gave me one last smile. I heard the trace of one last faint sigh. Illyrion, Budapest, goodbye now. Be safe, okay? Thank you for everything. All at once the cabin... Damn it. The cabin lights switched off. Every piece of machinery went dead. My suit pressurized shut, tight against my skin. A helmet closed over my head. I took a deep breath. Goodbye. In a split second, the glass of the cockpit shattered into a billion shards, and I was launched into the realm of space. The crushing weight of the dark all around me. The terrible silence everywhere. The last thing I was I saw the world of stars burning bright.